Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Welcome to another Wednesday night sew and chat. Today we are going to be working on a cute little flying geese block. Let me see where I can put it.
Yeah, it's pretty right here.
Yeah, so we're working on this flying geese block. I'm going to show all the steps to bring it together. And then there's some back here that I just have pinned together to kind of give an idea of different layouts you could do with the block, because the flying geese don't need to all go in the same direction. It looks really fun putting it in different directions. I actually saw a quilt pretty much exactly like this, just different sizing at a quilt shop in Austin. And I really loved it. I asked them if they had a pattern. They said no, that one of the people that worked in there put it together using the AccuQuilt. So I decided to just wing it with sizing, and here we are. But it looks really similar, doesn't it, babe?
It does. It really does. They use different
size,
fabric,
yeah,
and different sizes,
but it's very, very similar. And this one is fun, I think, because to make one block, you just need a layer cake square and then a coordinated charm pack square. So it comes together really easy, and you can make as many blocks as you wanted to make a quilt. So I'm going to put that here, so if anybody hops in later and asks what I'm working on, you can show them. So I got a few flying geese ready that I'm going to trim up, but then I'll show you all the cuts and everything. I just want to give people a little bit of time to hop on, because I only brought one set of that over to show. I am going to put together a tutorial to show the block as well, just to make it easier, because I know these live streams can run long. So if anybody wants to make it and refer back to something shorter, there'll be that there available too. So I'm going to trim these up, and you can talk about stuff that you were wanting to talk about.
I don't know if I was wanting to talk about anything, but I can roll.
Well, then you have to come up with stuff to talk about. So I'm trimming these flying geese down to 2" by 3.5" and I'm just using one of our flying geese trim locks. If you want to put up both camera views.
Oh, yeah, it's a good idea. Susie says hello from Wyoming. Hello.
Hi.
I actually quite enjoy Wyoming. She says, love the clapper. Thanks so much. And the stiletto and seam ripper combo is super neat. Glad you like them, Susie.
Was she the one who won the clapper?
Well, she won the clapper, and then she ordered a seam ripper and a stiletto.
Okay.
So, yeah, I love making. I think my favorite things to make are the clappers and the seam ripper stilettos, just because I love using a lathe, which is what I have to do for the seam ripper and stiletto. And the clappers, the iron clapper. So this one here is my wife's design. She came up with this while we were on a walk. And so I've never seen another one like it. So I enjoy making them because I think they're pretty novel. And then the other one,
I don't have one.
Well, you do. They're just over there.
Oh, yeah.
The other style, which is what you won, Susie, is my design. I came up with it because I've never seen anyone like it. And I really like making those too, just because I think they're really cool.
And so, I like when he makes those because there's not much I can do to help him. So I get to sew.
It is true. It's a lot of saw work and a lot of laser work, and my wife doesn't do either of those.
Yeah. So I like those. The other stuff, he's found stuff where I can help him, like with sanding and things. And sanding really isn't. It doesn't bring me a whole lot of joy. I'll be honest.
It brings no one joy. It is one of the worst parts of making anything, but it's a necessary evil. So, A Daily says hello. She's a new quilter, and all pointers are appreciated.
Welcome.
So Daily, I guess let me give you this sort of warning. Maybe not a warning, but
are you going to talk about how I just do what I want?
Yes. There are lots of rules, and I'm putting that in quotations loosely, for quilting. And my wife likes to have fun quilting, so she doesn't follow some of those rules. And there's nothing wrong with the rules. I think it's totally fine to play by the rules as much as you want.
You're like a rule follower. I think if you got more and more into quilting, you would be like,
oh, I would.
You would be like to me, like, yo, you that is not squared up. That quilt.
That's definitely how my personality is. My wife just wants to have fun. For me, having fun is being as precise as possible and doing everything perfectly. My wife is not like that. So you will learn lots of fun stuff if you watch the videos and listen in here, but just know that my wife does things that maybe others don't. So the flip side of that is she generally does things that are easier and more simple, so you may be able to learn more quickly, but other people may look down on you for doing some of the stuff she does. So just so you know.
There are some things that I follow really closely because there's certain things that make sense to me on making the quilt come together nicely. But then there's things like after you get the quilt quilted, squaring it up and everything, I don't do all the measurements to get it perfectly square because I don't think just looking at the quilt, you're going to tell that the top is 1/4 inch bigger than the bottom of the quilt. So I just trim up right along the edge of the quilt top and be done with it. Just things like that.
Sean says some of the people are talking about going to QuiltCon at Phoenix next year. And Sean says if he went to Phoenix, he'd get lost and end up at spring training games.
You'd probably be there with my son and husband then. So.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think spring training starts. Well, they may have games in February. I just don't remember. I should know. So, fun fact about me that most people don't know, because I rarely talk about anything I do in the legal world. I won the largest case in U.S. history against Major League Baseball.
Are you even allowed to talk about it yet?
Well, the case has been over. They appealed to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said get the hell out. So, yes, I can talk about it. It was like a $4 billion case, and we won. And I'm very proud of it. It's like one of the things I put on my resume. But it was a very interesting. So I played baseball in college. I love baseball. So it's interesting to be suing or to be involved in a case where Major League Baseball and all 32 teams, 30 teams, MLB Network, some other affiliates. It was a really interesting case that we won and kicked their ass, and it was great. But I learned things about baseball that I can't talk about because they're all under strict confidentiality things. But I have lost all respect for Major League Baseball.
You probably with all sports if you knew that.
If you did, I think that's probably true. But some of the stuff that Major League Baseball does is so ridiculous to its players. I was drafted, but I didn't play because I went to college instead. But I can totally see why, if you're a high school kid that gets drafted, if you get out of college, you do whatever they tell you to do because you want to play ball. But some of the shit's so ridiculous. But I can't talk about it. But
nice bringing it up then.
Yeah.
All right. So after I press this, I will show the cuts if anyone is interested in making this block.
Gloria says, I wanted to order the purple seam ripper combo, but couldn't find it. So Gloria, I think we just sold the last Purple Heart one the other day, but I've got a bunch more that I've started. I just haven't finished them yet. So give me a couple days and they will probably be back up on the website. We just sold out of them much more quickly than I had expected. You need to
make me a larger one.
I've got a 12-inch downstairs, but I don't want to go and get it. So, but I have a bigger one that you can use.
Okay, so for this block, we're making 6 flying geese. So to get the background, the body part of the flying geese, you're going to need 6 triangles. And let me see, does this show up? It shows up if I put it here. So to get those triangles, you're going to cut a 4 1/4 inch square and then cut it on the diagonal corner to corner. And so to get the 6, you're going to need 2 of those 4 1/4 squares cut on the diagonal, and you'll end up with 2 extra triangles, but you'll just use those for more of your flying geese. This is just showing for one block. So that's how you get the body part of the flying geese. These are the
2 by the 1.5 by 3 inch finished.
It's this one.
Yeah, 2.5 by 2 by 3.5.
Okay, and then so for the rest of the block, you're going to need a 10-inch square. So like you could use a layer cake square, and then a coordinated charm pack square, so a 5-inch square. So let me show you the cuts for the layer cake first. I'm probably gonna scooch off camera so I can show this over here. This is like, I didn't practice cutting over here in this tight of a spot, so bear with me because I'm just gonna use the mat. So we're going to cut 2.5 inches from the edge. Hopefully that's 2.5 inches because I've never cut using the lines on this mat. So a 2.5-inch strip.
Oh, so you're not even using a ruler? You're just using the mat to cut?
Yeah, get mad.
Oh no!
Get mad at me.
Making those rules.
So you're going to cut 2 strips that are 2.5 inches. One is going to be for the block, and one we're going to cut into a bunch of 2.5-inch squares. So 2 2.5-inch strips, and then you should end up with a 5-inch segment as well. So I put the 2 segments that I'm keeping for the block on a design board to keep it organized. So one of your 2.5-inch strips is going to be on the design board, and then the 5-inch strip.
Nice.
Okay, and then we're going to cut this strip here into, what is it, 4 2.5-inch squares. So I'm just going to use the trim lock because that'll make it easier on this mat.
That is smart. Jackie says she loves the 14-inch slide locks because they're perfect for card making.
Ooh.
So fun fact, Jackie, we didn't know, but I had someone reach out to me, I don't know, a month or so ago. She is a book binder, so she makes book bindings, and she bought a slide lock because it helped her with doing that. So that was kind of cool because we didn't really think about that. And I know it can be used for leather making as well. So if you're making leather wallets or things like that, it can help with basically the same thing you would do with fabric. It just holds it down. So it does have some interesting uses. You can use it to fight off a robber. So if someone's coming in, just hit them with the corner of it. It works quite well for that.
So the charm square cut in half, 2.5 inches. And then one strip you can just save. I'm going to save mine for the border on the quilt, like to add a little bit of extra fun. And then cut that the charm square into 2 2.5-inch squares. I feel like.
Oh, hey, Julie Kuhn is here.
Hey, Julie. She said in the Facebook group that she would be able to be on today. So that.
Hey, Julie. For all of you who don't know, Julie is a longtime watcher, and she's great. She's been very busy lately, so she hasn't been able to make it. So it is nice to see you, Julie.
So now cut all of those little 2.5-inch squares in half along the diagonal. And so those will be, I like to call them the wings of the flying geese, but people got really mad at me for calling it that. It's the background of it, but you know.
Siberian Wind says she got her 14-inch slide lock today. Literally just opened it. Any tips for getting the paper off the acrylic?
Oh my gosh, my nails are gone from that.
So we keep the paper on it when we send it because we don't want it to get any scratches before you get it because that would suck, and we don't want that. The easiest thing to do is just go into the corner, and you should just be able to peel back the corner and then just pull it off slowly, and it should come off in one big strip.
Ideally.
Yeah, we have to take the acrylic off the top part because we have to because we can't put a bunch of screws through it and then you'd never get it off. So we just peel back the corner and take it off slowly. Becca gifted 5 So Be It Quilts memberships. I don't know what that means.
Oh, thank you, Becca. I guess she just I think random people just get chosen to have memberships. And I didn't talk about that.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, Becca. That is amazing.
So the flying geese, you just take one of the not wings, the background, and lay it along. So how would you explain it? Like this edge of the triangle? Because the longer edge is
so technically this is the base and these are the sides.
Okay, so you would lay the base of the small 2.5-inch triangle along the side of one of the backgrounds of the flying geese.
Yes.
Wow.
Well, they're isosceles triangles, so they have 2 sides and a base.
That's why I like diagrams on patterns. So I'm going to sew along one side of all these, just chain piecing them.
And I'm trying to catch up on the comments, so I apologize.
Yeah, my phone timed out with the comments, so it's all on you right now.
Hey, Danelle, just saw that you jumped in. that'll be fun. I don't know what the date is, Danelle, and you can put it in the chat, but on Donnell's channel, I think we'll be doing an interview with her at some point in April. I don't remember the date. I put it in the calendar, Donnell, so like we're good. But I just don't remember the date, and I don't have my calendar in front of me.
Yeah, I know you asked me, and I was like, oh, that day will work fine. I think it was the 6th for some reason. That stands out to me, but it could have been one of the 2 days we could choose from.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, there were 2 days, and I think that one worked better for her anyway. So, oh, hey, Amy showed up. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
Oh yeah, people are saying they have a membership. That's awesome. So Becca is the best. That's awesome.
That's really not like I didn't even know you could gift memberships, so that's
neither
really cool.
did I.
I need to learn more about YouTube. Clearly.
Oh, well, Jonna, it's nice to have you. I am sorry that you were having health problems, but glad you're okay now.
That's awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, glad you're doing better to be able to get on and everything.
Oh, did you ever respond to Barb Olson's email?
Oh no, is she in there?
Okay, she is. She just
okay, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm horrible with responding to emails if I've read it because we looked at everything you sent and talked about it.
We're good to go.
And then in my head, I told you.
Yeah. So thank you for letting us know, Barb. We've taken care of it, so we really appreciate it. Good there. All right, Linda, have a wonderful evening and enjoy work.
As much as you can, at least.
Okay, so Donnell says, yes, April 6th at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we'll be sewing and chatting.
Awesome.
So there you go.
Okay, do you want to iron these?
I can. So Melissa.
It sounds like Lorelei's headed out, so.
Okay, yeah, Melissa, I can definitely get you a custom LED sign. Sorry, that's my phone. Our daughter's just leaving for practice. So yes, I can make you a custom whatever you want. So all you need to do is if you have a logo, I can make you a custom logo on an LED sign, or if you just want your name on it, that's fine too. Just let me know. Well, we can go over fonts. Just email me, tell me what you want, and then I can send you some fonts to choose from, and we can go from there.
Oh, so I don't know if, because I don't have the chat up. I don't know if Donna from Handmade by Ying with Donna is in the chat or not. She probably isn't because she has a lot going on right now. But a lot of you, I'm sure, have followed her channel and her granddaughter Harper's story. And it sounds like Harper got her heart that they were waiting for. So she's going into surgery tomorrow. So whatever you believe in, if you pray, if you just send well wishes or happy thoughts, whatever you do, they could definitely use them to help her get through her surgery tomorrow. So I just wanted to let everyone know that if they did not see it on that Facebook page.
Yeah, that is amazing and very excited about that.
So if she's taking care of that this week and being with family, if you are able to subscribe to her channel and watch any of her videos that you haven't caught before, just to help keep her channel going, that'd be awesome too.
Yeah, and also sort of on that same note, for anybody that has ordered a paper piecing ruler, that is courtesy of Donna. It was her idea. So she's the one that came up with it. She's the one initially came up with the 12-inch, and then she said a lot of people wanted a 6-inch, so we made that as well. But the only reason we make them is because Donna asked us to.
Yeah, so we really appreciate her reaching out and asking for those and showing them on her channel. And so yeah, smart lady. She's great at the foundation paper piecing. If you've been wanting to learn how to do that, she has a lot of videos on there that you could watch to learn how to do that. So definitely check out her channel if you.
Charlene says she's late because she was washing dishes and singing Miley Cyrus, and she's glad her dog and cat love and tolerate her. That is awesome.
I mean, you have to find a way to make washing dishes fun. So I forgot to say, because I'm horrible at doing tutorials live, apparently, but I'm just sewing the small printed triangle onto the other side of the flying geese after I pressed it. So I apologize. Like I said, if you're interested in making this video, or this block, I will have a tutorial come up that just kind of walks straight through it. So you can get all the measurements and how to do it that way.
Yes. So I'm just going through the chat here. So what is Danelle wants to know what you're making. So we were in Austin
last weekend.
So we were in Austin 2 weekends ago, and we had to go back on Tuesday. It was sort of a quick trip because I had to be back here by 1 o'clock for a meeting. So
did we even make it on time?
I made it with like 10 minutes to spare. So for us, we were actually in Round Rock, but it's in Austin. But it's like a 2.5-hour drive for us, and the place we were going didn't open until 9. So we drove up there, but I had to stop and get gas on the way. So we got there around 10, and had to exchange something that we had bought. And the guy that owns the store, which I'll talk about in a little bit, is awesome, and I love talking to him. And so we just started talking, and then next thing I know, I was like, "Oh crap, we have to leave, so I'm going to be late for a meeting." So where was I going with this? So while we were at the shop, my wife found they had a quilt on the wall, and she really liked it, and it was very similar to this, but they didn't have a pattern. So she just decided to eyeball it and figure it out. And so that's what she's making.
Yeah, so it's just a flying geese. If you can't see it well in the background, you can hold up a block for them.
Yep.
Because there's like some here.
That's sort of what the pattern will look like, but here is a block. And then she got this really cool fabric. I love it. It's got all the colors of the rainbow, and they're pretty bright and bold, so I really like it.
I should probably put your clapper on these because
it's probably a good idea.
I'm not using starch since it's a pre-cut, since I'm using a layer cake and the charm pack. I don't want to add starch to it and risk it shrinking. So
Terry Chichester wants to, or Chichester. Terry, let me know, is it Chichester or Chichester? She wants to know how you like the new Juki.
Oh my gosh. So I honestly didn't think it would be that much different than, what is it? You have
the TL22.
Yeah, I just get all the numbers because I have that one over there, and it's too many numbers. Like they need to have actual names for it. But really, I'm bad with names too, so it probably wouldn't help. But I didn't think it would be that much different than the 2010 Q because everything I read was that it's basically the same machine with just a few extra features. But I think those extra features are like really change things a lot. Like I think my quilting turns out a lot better on this machine because it will automatically adjust to the difference in thicknesses of your seams. And so it just goes over everything just seamlessly. Not that the other machine was bad. It's a great machine. I love that one as well. But I was surprised at how much easier it is to sew on this one.
So sorry, Amelia, I must have missed your question the first time. Do we have any plans on adding an angle on one side of the paper piecing ruler? So I sort of looked into it because there's another ruler on the market. It's not this one. There's another ruler on the market that has sort of a slanted edge, and it's not technically. It is patented. So I could probably get around the patent, but I'm not a patent troll, and I don't like to infringe on other people's IP. So I probably won't, if only because I don't want to. Someone else came up with the idea, and it's a novel thing. So probably not. I may look into it more when I have more time and see if there's a better way to do it. Because if I can find a better way, then I'm not infringing on a patent, and I don't feel bad about it. But I just haven't had time to look into that particular issue. Okay.
So I'm just trimming up all these flying geese. So there's 6 in each block to 2 inches by 3.5 inches.
Let's see. I feel like someone else. I'm on. If you want to, you can email info@SoBeItQuilts. and let me know what you're looking for, and I can tell you if I can make it. And yeah, go from there. Yeah, so Terry says that the 2010 is a great machine. It is an amazing machine. I love using it. I have no issues with it.
But you've never tried this one yet.
I've never tried this one, but I also don't need to, because for what I do, the 2010 is totally fine.
So if you are looking for a machine, and I am definitely not an expert in different machines, I would suggest calling up to So Yaz shop and talking with them, because if you are interested in Juki, they're really knowledgeable at all the different models to make sure you're in the machine that fits what you do the best.
Yes, I think that's accurate. So let me get on to sort of that real quick. So I've finally made a list of things I wanted to talk about so I don't forget them. So while we were up in Austin, so the reason that we went to Austin, so where we live, we're sort of in the middle of nowhere. There used to be our favorite quilt shop, but it got burned down as a result of the building next to them, or the store next to them, was a restaurant, had a freak fire overnight, and it started burning at like 8 or 9 in the evening where no one was there, and it just went all morning until people showed up the next morning and caused lots of issues. So that quilt store burned down, and she decided to just go strictly online. So they're no longer around. And there's not really another great quilt shop in our area that we like.
Yeah,
So,
there's one I really like, but it's really limited on the fabrics they have and stuff, which is, it's fine because it's a small, it's a small shop, but sometimes you just want to go to a big
an emporium thing. So we found a shop in Austin, which is sort of the next biggest city from us.
And then we got to say hi to Amy, which was awesome.
Yeah,
so
got to meet Amy there, so that was great. So anyway, the store is called Austin Sewing. A guy named Mike owns the place. He's a great guy. Love talking to him. Talk to him all day long.
Yeah, and I think he quite likes it too, because it doesn't seem that many guys go in there around that area or something, because you've been the only one in there along with him when we've gone.
So anyway, got to know him. He's really nice. He has excellent prices on everything, but we found out that every third Saturday of the month, they run a special, which is 20% off of all fabric, so long as it's not a clearance fabric. And that includes pre-cuts, kits, patterns, books, and they sell online. So it doesn't matter where you live in the US, you can go on their website and get 20% off of all their fabric, which, as far as I can tell, is already priced very well. So we're not sponsored by them. They're not paying us. They've not given us a discount on anything. They're really good and we like them. So there's a little blurb at the bottom of the screen. If every third Saturday of the month, if you want to get 20% off your fabric, you can order it from them. And they have a lot of fabric. And the 20% off applies to all of their non-clearance fabric. So it applies to Tula Pink.
Yeah, and he said that you need to get on early when the sale starts to get the Tula Pink, though, because he said that stuff goes fast. So
because it's almost never on sale.
Yeah.
So great place. And also, if you're in the Austin area, or hell, even if you're in the Houston area and you want to go up to Austin, really cool place. He sells, I think, every machine under the sun.
Yeah, and they're all out on display, which is nice because you get to really see them and stuff. So I really liked the shop. They have a lot of pre-cuts, a ton of patterns, and they're all laid out really nicely. So it's really easy to look for them and look through them. They had that was the first shop I've been to around here that had a lot of bag patterns too, and supplies for bags. So if you like making bags and want to be able to see the stuff in person, that's a good place to go to.
Yeah, and it was even better because we got to meet Amy there and her husband. So that made it even better. And then we went out to breakfast, and I had chicken and waffles for the first time ever.
So if any of you all are around, that'd actually be fun to do, is see if we could have like a little meetup there, because they have like one room and go sit.
They do have a room in the back. So I will call Mike, because we're best buds now, and find out. So if you're in the Austin area, or you're willing to drive to Austin, because for us, like I said, it's a 2.5-hour drive, and you'd be interested in like a meetup, like we should see if we can get one together, because I'd be all down to do that. That'd be really fun.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I'm going to be really honest right now. This goes into what he was talking about at the beginning about how I like to just wing things and do things my own way. So when I was planning out the sizing here, I could not get a good size for the flying geese to match the 10-inch square. So when we trim this down, it's going to get trimmed down to 9.5 inches. So you are going to be trimming off a 1/2 inch on the 2.5-inch strip you saved and the 5 by 10-inch strip you saved. So you could either trim it off at the beginning, or what I do is I just line them up and sew and then trim the block down to 9.5 inches at the end. So however you prefer doing that, whatever makes you happy, or find a pattern where all the sizes match up. I don't know.
Yes. So there's a bunch of questions, so I'm going to try and get to them real quick.
Okay, good, because I still don't have my phone up with the chat.
So Alexandra Burns says we should do a 3/8 inch paper piece ruler. Lots of EPPers like a 3/8 inch seam allowance, and there isn't one on the market.
Huh.
How about this?
I did not know that, because I don't know. I'm not great with paper pieces.
Yeah. Alexander, since it's your idea, why don't you send me an email? Tell me what size you would like, and I will send you one, and you can let me know how it works. And if you like it, awesome. Maybe I'll sell it. But I always like to get feedback before, because I think it's great, but other
like
people
a lot of the stuff he can ask me to try, but stuff like that, I'm like, I don't know, because you were asking me about the 1/4 inch, the FBP ruler that Donna asked for, if like it would be good if an 1/8 inch on the other side. I'm like, I don't know.
So Charlene Morris says, what size are the flying geese? So the flying geese come in 3 sizes: a 3.5 by 2 inch, which ends up with the 3 by 1.5 inch finished block; a 4.5 by 2.5, which is a 4 by 2 finished block; and a 6.5 by 3.5, which is a 6 by 3 finished block. So this is the 3.5 by 2.5, which
that's the one I'm using for this.
And this results in a 3 inch by 1.5 inch block. Joanne Wilson, are they included in the shop hop? Yes, Joanne, they are included in the shop hop for that area. I forgot what he called it.
Was it North Texas one or
Maybe,
I can't remember.
Yes.
It was on their sign.
Austin Sewing is included in that shop hop.
I think it might be noted on their website right now, because we were looking at it earlier, and I think they had a note on there of which one they're included in.
Lindsay, nice to see you. She's just joining. That's awesome. Let's see. I lived in.
I need to put that over here. I'm going to forget where I put it.
Sylvia says she lived in Texas for 7 years and learned to quilt there, but she's not going back. Where are you now, Sylvia? I forgot. And you don't have to say in the chat if you don't want to. The Blue Bonnet Shop Hop. Thank you, Amy.
Yes. How did I not know that?
I don't know.
It's like the one flower here that's pretty.
So Sylvia wants to know, what's a shop hop? Do you want to take that one?
I don't. I can't really explain it because I've never participated in one, because I don't drive. So
that's true.
Me going to all those just won't happen. From my understanding, different quilt shops in a particular area, like for here, it's different areas of Texas, will participate in a shop hop, and it spans a certain time span. And if you go to each one, I think you get entered into some sort of giveaway. I think you have to show that you went to all of them. A lot of them will have like a particular block for their store that you can show. I think it's a little different each time. Like I said, I've never participated in one, so that's my understanding from.
Yeah, and I think for this one particular, the Blue Bonnet one, I think each of the shops, at least I know Mike does, Austin Sewing, they get special fabric printed just for the shop hop, and you buy it that way. So,
and they had a really cute little ornament for that shop hop. Remember?
Yeah, they had that little. It was like a. They went out and got a local artisan to make these really cool.
It kind of was reminiscent of stained glass.
Yeah, it really.
It was like a quilt block, and there was wood trimmer. It's so pretty. So here's my block. You can see there's like this at the bottom that needs to get trimmed off. And so I'm just going to trim the whole block down to 9.5 inches. You're not going to see me because I don't have room, and I made my husband. I'm spoiled. I made him make me a 9.5-inch trim lock. You didn't add these to our shop, right? Because it's too big.
I did not.
So
yeah, they're heavy as heck, and they work. You just have to. They work a lot better on a spinny.
Yeah, I have to, like, because I'm sitting right now. There's no way I can get it to work really well because I kind of have to stand to be able to turn it. So I'm just using it on a rotating cutting mat. But I'm gonna trim the block down. Sorry that I'm off camera. There's not enough space for me to put it here to turn it.
So Alexander says, do you mean you don't like driving or that you can't? No, she can drive. She has her own car. She drives all the time. She just hates driving. Part of it is we live in, I think, the third or fourth most populous city or metro area in the country. So, I mean, when we say that we're going to go somewhere, we describe not in distance, but in time, because distance here means nothing. I worked for many years in downtown Houston, which is only about 55 miles away, but it could take me 3.5 hours to get those 55 miles. And really what it was, it would take me 40 minutes to go 54 miles, 52 miles, whatever it is. But the last 3 miles would take, I'm not even joking, 2 hours plus, because traffic gets so bad in that town. So when we were in South Dakota, we were driving all over the place, and you could, like, we were out in the sticks, and it was, the nearest town was Sioux Falls, which was 60 miles away, and it would take 45 minutes. Maybe I was driving fast, but there's no traffic. So it's not that she can't drive. It's just she hates driving because there's so much traffic here, and people are such bad drivers here, more so than anywhere we've ever lived.
Yeah. So, and I do have some driving anxiety. When I'm driving somewhere I've never been before, I have tricks that'll help me get through it so I can get there. But I'm very comfortable driving in familiar places that I drive a lot, like from here to the store, from here to where my daughter plays soccer, different things like that. I'm absolutely fine. But going somewhere I've never been is a little more intimidating.
Yeah. Yeah. The traveling quilter says Houston Katy freeway is awful. Yeah, I don't know how you can have a freeway that at one point there are 16 lanes and you're still in stop and go traffic. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous. I've never been anywhere that has 16 lanes and still you're stopped on a parking lot because there's too much traffic.
I've never been somewhere where I've seen so many people driving the wrong way on a road too. Where we used to live here in this area, there was this particular road. There was no reason to think it was 2 lanes going in the same direction, but people would treat it that way all the time. And it was absolutely terrifying driving on that road.
Yeah. So funny story, and we'll stop talking about Texas traffic, but I don't remember I think we were in College Station for a soccer tournament, and we were driving back home from the tournament, so we were already because those sorts of tournaments you play 2 or 3 games a day, and
it's hot. It's 3 million degrees.
It was
outside.
In May. It's just, and it's bad enough for my daughter who's playing each of the games, but like we're literally sitting on the field and we're just sitting there having the sun beat down on it. We're not moving or anything, so it's worse. But
that's probably worse than it is for her.
Well, it feels worse because you're just sitting there getting.
Yeah, you're not actually doing anything.
So we're driving home, and we reach a point in the freeway where it took us, I'm not joking, an hour to go about 1.5 miles because there was an accident. And when at that point, we were going south. And when we finally get up to where the accident is, and this is a freeway that has 3 lanes on either side, and then they're separated by like a ditch, right? So like they're not lanes that are next to each other. There's like a ditch. When we finally get to the accident is on the other side of the road for the northbound traffic. And the reason that our side was going slow is because people were stopping to look. Like, we literally had to spend an hour going 1.5 miles. Excuse me, took an hour to go 1.5 miles because people on our side were just watching the accident on the other side. There was nothing impeding traffic on our side. There's just people wanted to watch. It's unbelievable. I was thinking that there was like an overturned car on our side and 2 of the 3 lanes were closed. No, all lanes were open. There were no police, fire, tow trucks on our side of the road. They were all on the other side, and people still stopped to watch. It was ridiculous.
I think that's anywhere though. I don't think that's unique to just here.
No, I've never seen.
Not maybe
that.
for that backed up, but that's just because the traffic is always bad here anyway.
Yeah, this is okay. So, yeah, Lord Lenny does not like driving anywhere near Houston. I agree with that.
It's awful. I think like a lot of big towns, it is bad, but there's like it's something special about the Texas big towns though, because even Dallas is really bad.
Yeah, Dallas is less because there's not as many people, but it's because they designed their freeways to they all come together at the same point, and you've got like 3 lanes exiting, 3 lanes entering, and people don't know how to deal with that.
Yeah, Texas likes to do a lot of those where the fast lane ends. Like
Yeah.
you're in that lane, and then it's just like we're just gonna merge you over, and good luck with that.
Oh, that's really pretty. So here is another one. I really like this pink color.
Okay, so did you put a little message up for? So if you would like to become a member of my channel, I'm going to do a members only live Saturday, the 23rd. Was that the day? I had you write it down.
Yes, Saturday, March 23rd.
So I'm going to do a members only live then, and it's going to be showing 2 blocks that are going to be one of my upcoming tutorials for a quilt that I designed. So it's not this one because this was just a whim thing, but a different tutorial. So I'd be showing blocks for that, and you'll get to see them early. And if you are unable to join as a member, that is perfectly fine. That pattern will still become available on my on my channel at some point as well, so you won't miss out on that pattern in any way. All right, so I still have some more of these. These are just already cut though and ready to sew. Like I said, all these measurements will be available too for this block. I will put it up as a tutorial as well.
Claudia says she lived in Central California. So did we. We got married in Santa Barbara. And she worked 20 miles from home. One day it took her 4 hours to get to work on the day she retired.
Oh no.
I think that's one of those things where you just skip the retirement party and just go home and say, look, guys, I cut out because that's horrible.
They had a lot of flooding recently. I don't know. I've not had time to keep up with the news to know if it's gotten better there. Have you seen?
I don't follow the news at all. The only news I follow is Supreme Court news. And so like I know what the Supreme Court's doing just because I'm a lawyer and that's sort of where I deal. But
and sports news.
Yeah, but sports news is just life. I don't really consider that news. Yeah. So yesterday was the NFL's deadline to designate people as franchise tags. So that was an interesting.
I don't even know what that means.
It's okay. Rebel Row says, being a delivery driver in Houston is the worst. You learn the back ways real quick. Yeah, I've learned the back ways to get faster. Places. They're so much faster because one, they're not manned by police, so you can, take that as you
Except for Kingsland here over.
Yeah, but I hate that road. I
like that road, but you go so slow on it, and they have so many cops on it.
I do like the only reason I like going on Kingsland is because it's sort of a back road, but the speed limit is ridiculous. It's like 30 miles an hour, and it should be 50. But people go 50, and there's always cops in 2 different spots. And so every time I'm on that road, I'm going 30. I just set cruise, and I see 3 people get pulled over. And
you just don't even
because you just need that there's always cops there. So, yeah, it's fine. Okay, so let's get to some questions.
Oh yeah, you didn't tell me what you put in there.
I know.
Question. He set it up this time.
I did. I set everything up. So if something looks wrong, it's definitely my fault.
Sorry, stretch them out. I'm trying to skip steps.
Yeah, a lot of people. I know Amy had mentioned that Atlanta has horrible traffic. I agree. No fun. So, okay. So question number 1. Have you ever eaten something and immediately regretted it? This makes me think of that one viral video with the baby.
Oh, I love that video.
So I don't. Have you ever eaten anything immediately and then regretted it?
You got me to try like shrimp and stuff, and I just that flavor and texture is not happy for me.
That's not what I was thinking. So
You
was
mean
it
like
right before we got married or right after we got married? I think it was right before. Oh, we
you
may have been married. I don't
made
remember.
me try stuff with chocolate that's not good.
No. So one day we had a crock pot, and if you know anything about her, you know that crock pots and her don't mix. And she threw a bunch of ingredients in the crock pot that should have gone together. They should have gone together.
But to be fair, when we got this crock pot, I do not cook in crock pots. Nothing turns out good in there for me. But I think it was your grandma, maybe when we got married, insisted that every house needs to have a crock pot. And then she gave us a bunch of crock pot books, like 5 ingredients to make a meal or whatever. So he will never get over this dang meal. And anytime we plan out stuff, he has to agree with it. Like, it's not just me playing. I'm like, look, these are the ideas.
It's true. I agree.
Completely agreed to this meal.
It was, I don't remember exactly what was in it, but it was all ingredients that made sense together. And it wasn't even, it was like ground turkey. Ground
beef or ground turkey. It was some sort of
potatoes, mushrooms,
onions,
and a sauce. And it should have been great. It was the most ridiculously nasty thing I've ever tasted.
When you opened that lid up, you just knew that was not going to
I should not have tried it because I was like, oh, we need to vent the house now. But it was so bad.
He has never let me live that down. And I feel like just because I threw the stuff in there does not mean that was all my fault.
It wasn't, because I agreed. I was like, yes, I was on board. Like, this sounds really good. A lot of seafood. Well, Twyla had a lobster roll, but she's allergic, so I can see why that's a problem. Tofu, catfish.
Remember poor Hunter when we went to Whole Foods?
Oh my God, yeah. So our son's allergic to peanut butter, which we didn't know. So we went to Whole Foods where you can grind your own peanut butter. And as we were leaving the store, I was like, oh, do you want to try the peanut butter? So I literally got some on my, like, the smallest amount, like 3, like the size of a peppercorn, like a black peppercorn. On my finger, he licked it and then immediately started throwing up. And I'm like, oh, you're probably allergic to peanut butter.
Well, he got hives all over.
Yeah,
too.
it was horrible.
Thankfully, his breathing stayed fine, but then
but it was like the tiniest amount.
Yeah, we went to an allergist and then now he has an EpiPen. So
yeah. Celine accidentally ate a dog biscuit once.
Oh no!
I mean, that probably would be traumatizing, but I actually don't think it would be horrible.
I think it's like a mental thing because a lot of them are probably like all ingredients that we could eat. It's just.
Auntie L Handmade said a bite of raw horseradish. So this is, I love raw horseradish. I love raw, like real wasabi, like the real good stuff you get from Japan. I eat that stuff like crazy. It's like one of my favorite things. So I'm all about that sort of stuff. Now, it'll clear you out for sure, but it is so good.
That's my favorite video. The one he was mentioning is when the little baby, like the mom, I think it's a mom, is asking her if she wants to try the wasabi. And she has like the tiniest bit on the end of a chopstick, and the little girl tastes it. She gets the tiniest bit on her tongue, and the way her face changes, and then she's just like, help.
It's hilarious. So Jonna says the hazards of eating at potluck dinners. She's eaten some suspicious things, and now she just takes very small portions.
Oh,
I'll be honest, I won't eat at potluck. I don't trust people enough to. I know what I do when I cook, and I'm generally a very hygienic person, but I can only imagine what other people do. Like, I'm a guy, so when I use a public restroom, I see the number of people that come out of a stall, which means they weren't peeing, and just walk right out. Don't wash their hands. And, like, you're in public where people can see you, so I can only imagine what you do when you're home. So I don't trust people. I don't eat potluck food.
So I grew up in church, and there was a lot of potlucks. So the one that, and I think it's a, like a, what are empanadas? Like they're, what area makes them a lot?
Empanadas are flat food.
So I guess they typically have like raisins and stuff in them.
They can.
And I did not know that. So when I was eating one at a pot like that, really threw me off because I was like, I I never knew that people paired like sweet raisins and stuff with meat. And bananas can be delicious though, because we've had some around here that are good, and they did not have raisins in them.
They did not.
But I'm not a big fan of raisins either.
I don't like. I love grapes. Don't like raisins. Which I mean makes sense because they're slightly different. I mean, they're same root food, but.
But then I don't like bananas very much, but I like dried bananas.
That's so weird. I love bananas.
They're too mushy.
Oh, no.
You can't yawn.
So Terry said she had a friend who was given a container of dog food. She came home, put it in the fridge, and hubby came home late and ate it, not knowing it was dog food. That's bad.
That reminds me of Notting Hill when he's like, this yogurt's gone bad.
That's not yogurt, it's mayonnaise.
And then he keeps eating it. He's like, oh, right.
Yeah, God, love that movie. Okay, so question number 2, babe. If you became famous and had to choose a stage name, which name would you choose?
I don't want to be famous.
I get that, but I'm just saying, this is a situation, these are hypotheticals. You got to play along. If you had to choose a stage name, what would it be?
I don't know. What would yours be?
I don't know. I wrote the question. I probably should have thought about this.
I can't see you wanting to be famous either.
Oh, I wouldn't want to be. I'd go with something like ridiculous. Maybe like Gunnar Smith. Like just something that...
Bartleby Gaines.
Bartleby Gaines. I do like Bartleby Gaines, the third.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gunnar Smith, Bartleby Gaines, one of those two. What about you?
I just feel like my name's already unique enough. Like, I feel like...
It is, but that's sort of the whole point. You get to choose a name that...
I could go with like a normal one.
Yeah, like Cindy Smith.
Yeah.
The Traveling Quilter says, famous like actor or singer or like a stripper? You know what, Traveling Quilter? I'm going to let you choose. Whatever you want to go with, this is great. Cheryl says Figgy.
I like that.
Judy Hebert said, or Hebert, I'm not sure. I think it's Hebert. Says Ruby. I think Vicky. No, Vicky, I'm not trying to insult you, and this is just in good fun. But I think she went stripper because she went with Voracious Vicky, which is totally fine. If I were going to go stripper, I'd probably go like Max, spelled with 2 X's. Go like Max Howitzer. Something like that. Something ridiculous.
Maybe I would choose like my favorite color. So I'd do like Lavender Stitches or something like that.
That's a stripper name for sure. Lavender Stitches. Lavender Bobbin.
That'd be a horrible place. Like, I don't know why anybody would want to come in there.
So Alexandra, so you go by Zaza. Is that because it was like a nickname when you were a kid, or well, I guess what's the story behind Zaza? Because Alexandra, I mean, you've sort of got a Z sound with the X and the A, but what's the story there? Kathy would be Felicity. I like that name.
I love that name.
That is a good name.
Did you ever watch that show? I know you weren't much into shows.
If Felicity was a show?
Yeah. It had Carrie Russell in it. It was like in college. It was like a college show. Like she was in.
I believe you.
I don't remember much about it except for Carrie Russell was in it, and it took place in college.
Julie Kuhn says she would be Bubbles.
I like
that. Laura Buckles said she'd be Virginia Ham. That's awesome.
Do they ever, for celebrities who change their name, do they ever say why? I know some of them are reasons because they think it'll be more catchy and stuff, but like how they choose them.
So surprisingly, a lot. I read an article about this a while back, and it was actually because Michael Keaton, who's the best Batman, and Diane Keaton don't look anything alike, and I'm like, but they got the same last name, and it's not a really popular name. And I was looking it up, and Michael Keaton's not actually Michael Keaton. He changed his name because I don't remember what his name was, like Michael Smith or something. But there was already a Michael Smith in SAG. So like to get his SAG card, he had to come up with a different name. So a lot of these actors and actresses that change their names
need a unique one.
do so because they have to, because their original name is already taken by someone.
So dumb.
I know, so dumb. Okay. Alexander says Zaza is what she called herself when she started to speak, and it stuck. That makes sense.
I like that.
Yeah. Yep. See, Amy just chimed in. Sometimes it is sad. That is correct.
She's so smart.
I know.
Y'all made me feel so dumb when we were eating.
Amy and I were there having a highfalutin conversation intellectually, and my wife was just sitting there.
I was
crying.
just making munching sounds on my food. No, her husband was too.
Casey's very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird. Amy and I have very similar personalities, and I think you and Casey do in some respects. So it was kind of a fun little conversation. I feel like I missed something because people are saying prayers for Gloria. Let me see.
Oh no.
Someone she knows' son died, so that's horrible.
That's awful.
So sorry about that, Gloria. I'm hoping everything is okay. Not to be callous, but let's move on to the third. I'm not great with death. I've been a part of a lot, so I don't like it a lot. Which fictional place would you like to visit?
Fictional?
This is very easy for me, and I'm surprised you didn't immediately come to the same answer that I did.
Well, because you know me, my brain works really slow. We just talked about that.
So for me, it would be Hogwarts.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I would want to go, or Diagon Alley, like that entire thing. But like, I had to choose one, so maybe it would be Diagon Alley. But if not Diagon Alley, it would be Hogwarts, the school, because I would just want to see what's going on. That, and I would be a really cool wizard, so I'd really enjoy doing that.
See, my first thought was like the whole bed knobs and broomsticks thing, because that was like really fun to me when they were in the
with Angela Lansbury.
Yeah, but then I was like, well, I don't know, a lot of bad stuff happened there at different points. Yes. So then I went to Princess Bride. Like that whole thing was fun, but that forest was terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I would have to end up like at Hogwarts, but then there's Voldemort. So like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait for some people's answers because they'll have some good ideas.
So lots of Hogwarts, lots of Narnia. There's a Brigadoon, and I feel badly. I have no idea what the hell Brigadoon is.
I don't know.
Sounds like a word that someone that works on a ship in the UK would yell out for some reason, but I don't know what Brigadoon is. Hogwarts Storybrooke? What's Storybrooke? I don't know. So Terry, what is Storybrooke? Neither of us know.
Maybe it's in one of the newer, or because we never watched all of the older, or the like origin to.
Maybe. Oz be fun. Starfleet Academy, also not another one I know. So I feel like
That has to be like with Star Wars or Star Trek, right?
I don't know. Storybrooke, another Storybrooke. So a lot of people.
We are missing out on something.
Brigadoon, there's like 3 or 4 of them now. Andoria, I don't know where that is.
We are not well.
No, we're really. This is a bad question for us.
We need to watch or read more.
Hobbiton in Middle Earth. I have no idea what that is. Camelot.
Middle Earth that's the one with the trees that move.
Oh, okay. The trees that move? How am I supposed to know what that is?
That's the only thing I got from watching the first one.
Okay.
It's like right at the tip of my like brain as to what it is.
So real quick, Kanona says she has a Juki coming tomorrow. Can you suggest the thread that's worked best for you? She's heard mixed mentions that Jukis don't like Aurifil. Well, Kanona, all my wife uses is Aurifil, and she's used it on all of our Jukis and it's not had an issue. So
yeah, the Aurifils work well for me. If it doesn't for you on your machine, one that a lot of people have said they like is Glide. So, but I pretty much always use Orfill in mine.
So Alexandra says Brigadoon is a Scottish town that only appears for one day every 100 years.
Oh, that's cool.
So how's that work? So is it actually a real place or is it a fake place? And I've got to look this up now.
You're going to have to do research.
Star Hollow. I feel like I should know.
That is in Gilmore Girls.
Oh, okay. I probably heard it because my daughter and my wife love Gilmore Girls. I've never watched it.
You would not like it.
Once Upon a Time is a TV show set in Storybrooke.
We watched some of that.
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I guess we don't.
We didn't watch all of it because you don't like shows, but
yeah,
we watched some of it.
Oh, Whoville, that's a good one. Cindy Lou Who from Whoville. Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. That's actually really
That's
good.
a good one.
Now you would hate it because you don't like chocolate.
Yeah, but it would
still be really
seemed fun. They probably had some white chocolate in there somewhere.
Virgin River.
They had the Gobstoppers. I would have liked those.
Do you know what Virgin River is?
It's a TV show on Netflix. It's good.
Fantastica from The Never-Ending Story. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of people saying it only appears for 24 hours. I don't get it. I'm gonna have to look it up.
It's like those flowers that like bloom at like one time a year or something.
For like 12 seconds. Those are Scottish too, actually. They're called the Scottish rose thistle, I think.
Yeah, that's in that movie.
I don't remember.
Lorelai made it.
Okay, good. Atlantis. Ooh, Atlantis would be fun. Oh, probably because everything's back for parking. YouTube's being dumb about ads now. Sorry, everyone.
Was that the first one though?
That's the first person who's mentioned an ad, but I'm sure everyone's going to
start. Too bad because that one time when we first started using that,
oh my god, yeah,
it like had 8,000 in it.
So I'm gonna have to look up this Brigadoon place. I think it'd be kind of fun to go somewhere that only exists for one day every 100 years. Now,
what if you're there when it disappears?
Do you disappear also? I don't know. Maybe you go into a black hole. That'd be kind of interesting. Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Yeah, Julie Kuhn wants Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. I do think that the Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory would be fun. I hadn't thought about that. Not because I'd want to eat the chocolate, which I would, but it just seemed like such a cool, magical place until you get into that like chocolate boat ride. Where
that thing was scared. That scared me as a kid.
So I don't know what Hooterville is. Someone said Hooterville.
Maybe it's
that's a traveling quilter. Like you're still on that stripper thing, aren't we?
It's probably like Whoville that got auto corrected.
Maybe. The planet reached to meet Master Chief 117. I don't know what that is. I feel like that's a video game thing, but I could be wrong. So again, I think most people know about this, but we are doing our 1 year. So our 1 year anniversary is May 19th, I believe.
For the company.
For the company. No, we've been married much longer than 1 year. But the 1 year anniversary for the So Be It Quilts online store is in May. So we're doing a giveaway of a brand new Juki TL 18 QVP. Not this one because this is ours, but we have a brand new one in the box downstairs. So if you're interested in that, anybody that makes a purchase on our website between February something and May 19th is automatically entered. And there are rules in the description of this video if you're interested. But yeah, we're really excited to give away a machine because I think it'll be really fun. And I think what's going to be most fun for me is announcing who it is, and hopefully they're on the live that day.
Yeah.
And
hopefully they're excited about it.
Yeah.
It's such a good machine.
It is. It's really cool. And I like that they did like the blue. Although I guess this is a QVP thing. All the QVP machines have some sort of blue thing on them.
I wonder if I could get Hunter to sew some since it has like
Oh, the
symbols and stuff.
Japanese stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Hamilton says Sheila Fruget says not fictional, but Hamilton, Missouri would be her choice. And I'm guessing that's because that's where Missouri Star Quilt Company is.
Hooverville is from Green Acres.
Okay, I don't know what that is.
It's a show. You don't know Green Acres?
I just never watched TV as a kid.
That Green Acres is the place. You don't never. Wow.
My generation, which is your generation, we were outside all the time, running around.
It's too hot in Florida.
I guess that's true.
I was inside watching TV, reading, and doing like art stuff. That's why I'm pale. There were bugs outside.
The Debbie says Brigadoon exists but disappears into the mist after 24 hours. If you're still on Brigadoon at the time, you become part of it. Interesting. So I guess maybe then you get to re-emerge every 100 years. That'd be interesting.
That seems terrifying to me.
Well, look, when we're 75 and we've done everything we wanted to, let's just try it out, see how it works. Charlotte says Avalon. Is that the Green Gables? No. I don't know what Avalon is.
Green Gable, I think that's Avonlea.
Oh.
I don't know. Or maybe Avonlea's its own thing.
So, I had another good question that just popped into my head and now I forgot.
Oh, that's maybe Anne of Avonlea.
I don't know.
So I don't know what.
I don't remember now.
What now?
I had another good question, but I don't remember. So Traveling Quilter says when she was, or he or she was a kid, there were only 3 stations, so no 24/7 TV. So I'm not that old, but I do remember that when I was a kid, there were a lot of stations that, like, after 10 or 11 o'clock at night, that would just go to fuzz.
Yeah.
Like, they were still, you could still turn the TV on and go to that channel, but there was nothing playing. So Jonna, insight into me, I hate musicals and I don't like dancing. So if there's a movie that's a musical and has a lot of dancing, I will not watch it. It is not my cup of tea.
Yeah, the only one I can do is Sound of Music.
Yeah, and even that gets on my
like
nerves.
That.
No, I can't. So, yeah, I don't know what it is. I just, for some reason, I think part of it is I'm very particular about the music I like, and I've just never seen a musical where I was like, oh, I can dig the music here. It's just not my thing.
You also have a really hard time with movies and TV shows that aren't realistic. So that's probably
except for Batman, because I love Batman.
Yeah, like there's some where you're just like, you can't handle when they're like, you can't imagine that happening.
Yeah, I don't know. My brain works really weird. I have never seen Hamilton. I probably never will because, again, I don't do musicals. Never gonna happen. Won't go see it. Won't do it.
I'm so curious about that one because I see people talking about the songs from it all the time and how amazing they are, and I'm like, I feel like I'm missing out, but. I'm like you. I'm not big on musicals either.
Yeah, I can't do it. Like, it's hard for me to sit down and watch a movie for 2 hours because I feel like there's other things I could be doing. So it's got to be really good. But yeah, a musical, I just never going to happen. I've never seen Rent. I've never seen Cats. I've never seen Phantom. We literally, the only musical I can recall ever seeing was, so I went to a school for lack of a better term, geniuses. Like, your IQ had to be 150 or above to get in. So like I went to a school like that. So we had to go to events, cultural events all the time. So I once went to see the Nutcracker because I was forced to, but it was more of a ballet, which isn't technically a musical, but I did not like it. And then I had to see, I don't remember what the name of the play was. It was a musical, but it was based on the poem or the ballad of Casey the Slugger. That I didn't. I played baseball my whole life, and that was about baseball, and I didn't even like it. And then there was one other. Oh, the Sound of Music. So those were the only three. The Casey one, the Nutcracker, and whatever the other ones. And these were. I lived in an area where like it was at the San Francisco. I don't even remember, but it was like large, special production that was supposed to be very good. It wasn't, on Broadway, but it was, I guess, the next best thing, and I couldn't deal with it. So
you're not very, very well cultured.
Julie wants to know how we join the channel. Julie, I would love to tell you. I honestly don't have any idea. My wife said there's a link somewhere, but I can't find it.
They're on my community post.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I don't know YouTube all that well. So where do I go?
Well, you have to go to my main page. So
okay.
Unfortunately, you would have to go off there.
No, it's fine. I'll just create a new window.
There should be, unless you're on your phone, if you're on your computer, there should be a join link at the top.
I see. Okay, I'm on the community post.
So you're too far down because I posted about it.
That's like the second one.
Right there, the next one.
This one here?
Yeah, there should be if you do read more.
Read more. Oh, okay. Julie, I will put something in the chat. See if that works. Okay, I think I did it. I may be wrong. I'm not great at the YouTube. Wizard of Oz is a musical. That could be true. I've seen Wizard of Oz. It's okay. I mean, I would have written it very differently, but Chicago, DreamWorks, Cabaret, Hamilton. Never heard of any. I've heard of Chicago, and I've heard of Hamilton, but I've not heard of DreamWorks or Cabaret.
See, I think like Beauty and the Beast. I saw that on Broadway, and I really liked that.
That is good information. So Alexander says Hogwarts doesn't exist as it does in the film, which I totally expected. Some of the filming was at Alnwick Castle in Northumberland in the north of England. And then the rail bridge is Scottish. That's one of the cool things about the UK is that, well, in Europe generally, right? Like we're in Texas. It can take literally like 17 hours to drive from west to east in Texas. But if you're in Europe, that's like 13 different countries. And I like that the UK is really cool because you can, I mean, England is I don't know if Ireland is bigger than England. I think England may be slightly larger, but each of the countries has its very distinct feel. And it's really cool. We should go to England soon.
Well, I want to travel, but I'm terrified to fly that long.
Well,
we'll have to go by like ship.
No, we're not doing that. We're fine. Oh, well, Julie figured it out. Good work, Julie.
Thank you, Julie.
Thank you, Julie. We really appreciate it.
Hopefully we will get to see you.
Yeah, if you're around on the 23rd, this month.
Are you going to get on too, or is it just going to be me?
If I don't have work, I will. It just depends on how much stuff I have to get going on. So, yeah. So, Little Shop of Horrors. I've never seen Little Shop of Horrors. I did not know. That's the one with Rick Moranis. I didn't know that it was a
I've
musical.
never seen it.
I've never seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, but I also did not know that that was a musical. I'm just showing people how like uncultured I am. Yeah, Maple. I've been to the UK many times, and I usually fly into Heathrow. I've never flown into Ireland. I don't know if it's any better or worse. I assume Dublin has a nice airport. I've never been. Yeah, we just, the problem is like finding time to go because it's so hard to get time away from everything else going on in life. Alexander wants to know, do all levels of members get access to the live on the 23rd? I don't know the answer.
So what I think I'm going to do, because it only shows that the highest level right now is for lives. I think what I'm going to do is do once a month, do all levels, get a live, and then another one for just the highest level. So there'll be 2 members live streams, One will be for all levels, and then one will be for the highest level.
There you go. So here's a question. It's not one of our normal ones, but and this can be for anyone, because I know we've got people in Australia in the room, people in Europe and Canada. What is, aside from your home country, what is your favorite country to travel to?
I'm not well.
You've only been to Canada, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And I know there was nothing wrong with Canada. Like, I enjoyed some of the places we saw through there.
So for me, I don't know the answer. I've got to think. So my favorite country I have traveled to, I don't know. And so I'm thinking it's either going to be Croatia. I really like Costa Rica. Croatia is so much more beautiful than I ever would have expected. It is a beautiful country, great food, very nice people. Man, I don't know. I really like Portugal a lot. Well, I don't speak I speak Spanish, so I can get by in Portuguese sometimes. It's a tricky language, though, because there's a lot of words that are in Spanish that sound like Portuguese words, and they mean very different things. So
that's confusing.
I end up sounding like a fool sometimes, because I'll say something that I think means one thing, and I get a weird-ass look, and they're like, what the hell did you say? I think I'd probably go Croatia. I think it's a place I would go back any day of the week. So
is that one of the places Mrs. Polyfax went?
I don't know. She went to Albania, right?
She did in one of them, but I feel like in
I haven't read the books, so I've only
that's right. That you. I tried to tell you to listen to them all because they're so good, but
I couldn't because
you didn't like that person's voice. Yeah. Those books are so good.
Heike says Heathrow is the worst. She flies into Dublin, much better airport. Okay, I will keep that in mind. So Ireland, we got votes for Ireland, Canada, Costa Rica, England,
really want to go to
Italy, Ireland, Chile. So I will say this: I had a fine experience in Ireland. I've talked to some Americans though who went to Ireland and basically were treated like shit.
Well, that's because we're all rude.
No. These are people that I trust that are not dicks. Now, I will say that the people that I have heard from that had the worst experience in Ireland are those who have Irish names, like last names. And I think maybe people treated them poorly because they thought they were trying to be Irish, which they weren't. But I think they were discriminated against because they had names like O'Toole or McAfee or God knows what else. I do not have an Irish last name, so maybe that's part of it, but I've never had an issue there. Chile. Debbie in Quilt Fex says Chile.
Hi,
Ian. England, Nova Scotia, which is Canada, Spain. I will say this. I like Spain. I love Spanish food, but Spain was a lot dirtier and more crowded than I expected. So I just probably need to go to less populated areas in Spain, but I was not a huge fan.
All right, I'm gonna trim up this one and we can hop off. And
hey, sorry. I know my wife just said that, but I was tuning her out. I was on a diatribe about Spain. So let's see. France is a fun place to go.
I'd want to go just to go to the museums. I would love to see that painting I did in person because I think it's supposed to be there.
What was the name? Caspar David Friedrich?
Yeah, Friedrich is probably proper.
Hey, Ian, since you're just popping in, I screwed up and I meant to mail you something and I forgot. So I will put it in the mail tomorrow.
He's lying. I will put it in the mail tomorrow.
Well, yeah, she will. And to be fair, I didn't screw up because I gave it to her, but she didn't. I thought I told her, and she didn't know that I told her, so it probably was my mess up. But it'll get to you. I promise.
You took pictures to ask him if everything was good, and nobody.
I did take pictures, and I sent it to him, but I then forgot to send it to him. So that's my bad. Bermuda, Scotland. Scotland is really cool. Prague, yes, Prague is amazing. Hi, Ian. Bye, Ian. Cyprus, Cyprus, Iceland, and Switzerland. So, Dr. Patty Smith, I have a very interesting story about Cyprus. So most of the legal work I do has to deal with fraud, financial crimes, things of that nature. And I had a case that actually involved a shell company that was based in Cyprus, which there's a lot of financial fraud that goes on in Cyprus. So it was very interesting. I didn't know prior to that point that Cyprus was sort of a haven for financial fraud, but found out very quickly that that is the case. So very interesting thing to learn. Switzerland. Oh, Deborah DeLong, first time in chat. Welcome. Hopefully we have not scared you off. Switzerland is amazing. Big fan of Switzerland.
So did you see Alexander Burns' comment? So she said it's a bit annoying when someone tells you they are Scottish because their great granny was. So yeah. I think you're probably on the right track there.
Yeah. Now, to be fair, the people that I know that are American but have Irish last names, they're not the type of people that go into a bar or introduce themselves as Irish people. So I don't think they did that. But yeah, I would get really annoyed if I lived somewhere and people are like, oh, I'm Irish, I'm Scottish because I've got a Scottish name and my 8 generations ago lived here. It's like, no, you're not Scottish. You're American with Scottish heritage. That doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm 100% German. My last name is not actually, well, I don't know if anyone knows my last name.
Yours should have been.
Yeah, no. My family changed their name when they came to America because they were being discriminated against because it was just after World War II. But my family name is Messerschmitt, and that's the name of the company that made the engines for all of the tanks and planes that were used by the Germans in World War II. So as you can imagine, coming to America and having that name in the 50s was not a great thing. But I'm 100% German. But I would never go to Germany and say, hey, guess what? I'm German. Like, that's stupid. That's not the way things are. And you're like 75% German.
Yeah.
So I get it. I just Americans being dumb and thinking that we can just assimilate to other cultures by simply having a name. Or
that's really scary. Guess who, Nancy?
Let's see. Belgium and Holland.
Bye, Ian. Hi.
You like one of your French girls. Nice, Ian. So what did I miss from Guess Who, Nancy?
So they were out on a boat in Lake Michigan. She said, when I was a kid, we were boating on Lake Michigan. A storm came up and we ended up in Canada. That is the only time I was out of the States. But a storm in a boat is no fun.
I've been in a submarine that has been submerged. Hashtag don't tell anyone. That's probably still classified. Mm-hmm. I won't tell you where in the world I was. That was sort of frightening because what people don't tell you about submarines, they're actually huge. Like, I was not claustrophobic at all because like they're big, they're huge, they're like floating cities.
I still know I'm in there.
But what I never got used to was all of the sounds. Like, you're in this thing a couple hundred feet under the water and you hear cracks and creaks and noises, and it's Absolutely like I did not get used to it. It was for a short mission. We had to get somewhere that we couldn't get anywhere else. But dude, it was no claustrophobia, but audio phobia, whatever it was. I could not deal with the sounds. I don't think I slept for 3 days.
Hi, Mona did what? I think I packed your package today and it went out. May have been yesterday. But thank you for your order. And if anyone is looking for some more channels to check out, you can check out Mona Did What's channel. She does a lot of live streams too. If you like that kind of thing, you can hop in there and sew along with her. She's always doing different projects, and I think some bag making too she does. So check out her channel.
Let's see.
So Amy, the book is it's a series. I think they're from the 70s, right? The Mrs. Polyfax books.
I think the movie was from the 70s. The books are probably earlier than that.
So it's a series, Mrs. Polyfax. I absolutely adore those books. I think I've now listened to almost all of them in the series. The narrator does not bother me, but my husband did not enjoy listening to him. But there is a movie as well, which is actually pretty good. But I love the books. Essentially, the premise is about a elderly woman who is recently, is it widowed? Yeah, widowed. and her kids are all out of the house, and so she just goes up to, was it the CIA or?
Yeah, she just walks into the CIA one day and was like, I want to be a spy.
Yeah, she's like, I want to be a spy. And she kind of gets a gig on accident because they think she's someone else in there. It's just a whole thing. But anyway, they put her on a mission, things go wrong, and she ends up saving people and different, it's just fun. And all of them, she gets a new mission in each book, and they're all a lot of fun. They're kind of like a mystery, but funny too. So I really like listening to them.
Yep, Jonna and Twyla appear to know who Miss Halifax is and say it's wonderful. So
yeah, they're so good. I love them.
So I don't know. The movie is really well done. I know it varies from the books, but it's a 1970s movie, so know that going into it. But it's a really good watch.
But it's it's still really good as well. I wish they did more of the books because I enjoyed them all, and they were fun.
Yeah, that's going to be a question for next week. Which book have you read that you wish would be turned into a movie?
I wish
no one answer, but that's going to be a question for next week.
Well, I need to write it down. Darn it.
No,
everybody's going to answer anyway.
No, you can give them time to think about it.
Yes, John, and Mrs. Polyfax Spy. There's a lot of them. So Sylvia was fine with the audiobook too. Maybe you should try it again.
Look, everyone, I don't hear very well. I have a hearing problem. Which is probably why I talk so loud. So if I appear loud, I apologize. And for whatever reason, there are just some voices I can't deal with. And that was like one of my favorite book series is the Born series by Robert Ludlum.
Oh yeah, you could not listen to that.
I bought it on audiobook because I've got the books and I've read them, but I was like, oh, I just want to listen to it while I'm driving. And I got 5 seconds into it, and I'm like, I can't listen to this guy because he's going to make me pull my hair out. So I have the books on audiobook, but I've never listened to them because I can't deal with it. So I don't know. I have a hearing problem, and then I apparently also have a listening problem, depending on voices.
So Helen is asking if we can put a link to our website in.
Yes, I can do that. Give me 1 second, Helen. Oh, also, so I guess this is sort of, it's not, special news or anything like that, but oops.
Oh, it looked like the captioning is working again. So good.
Yes.
I guess
Trevin Quilter, Born Like Identity. Yes. Born Identity, Born Supremacy, Born Legacy. There's a bunch of the books, but they're very good books. Like the books have nothing to do with the movie other than the title character is the same. Books are much better, and they are amazing books.
Yes, it is smart to listen to any clips that they have available first before you purchase.
Iman, that is.
Yeah, there was one that I listened to that I couldn't do, and I had unfortunately purchased. I think I just went ahead and listened to it, and sometimes after a while, I just get used to it, and especially if the story's good. But life's too short sometimes.
Yeah. But that's great advice, Iman. I probably should have, but I was just like, how bad can it be? And then I was like, oh, it's really bad. So what I was going to say. Oh, so we are, we have decided. So again, for those of you who don't know, when we started our online store, we had initially thought we were going to launch on Etsy. So we launched on a Wednesday. And when we did that, we were thinking, hey, we're going to do it on Etsy. And then I realized that Etsy was going to charge us 12% of every sale, basically. And we're like, that's a lot of money to pay for a service that's not that great because Etsy's setup isn't all that great. So about noon, and I think we launched at like 4. About noon on the day we launched, and we had already said on YouTube that we were going to be launching. So it was sort of like we kind of had to. We set up a Shopify store in like 2.5 hours and tested it. And it was a hot mess. But we essentially have the same Shopify site now. So we have decided that we probably should invest in a real website. So we hired a guy who so funny story. I go on, I talked to a buddy of mine who is a tech person and said, hey, look, go to this website, which is a US-based website where you can find US-based help. They're all certified people. Like, you don't have to worry about them. So I go there, I search for someone to help us with our website, and the first guy that pops up is located 15 miles down the road, which is great because he's local, which means we can meet him in person.
Well, and because we really like working with.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely wanted to work with
businesses if we
small
can.
businesses. So I scheduled time to talk to this guy and find out, no joke, and this is why, we definitely hired him. Found out that he used to work at our favorite restaurant. And Anthony's is the name of the restaurant. Anthony, the guy that owns it, Anthony Decker, he is an impeccable judge of character, and if he only hires the best of the best. So the fact that this guy used to work there says a lot about who he is as a person. And he was hired to do their website after he left, because Anthony, the guy that owns the restaurant, is the kind of guy who likes to help his people succeed in life and doesn't get upset when people leave. So we definitely knew we made the right choice. So over the next month or so, we don't know when it's going to launch, but we're going to have a brand new website. It'll be easier to use. It'll hopefully be prettier.
And easier to find it because you won't have to put in like
it'll just be SoBeItQuilts.com instead of the so-b-it quilts, whatever. So anyway, that should be coming soon. We're very excited about it, and hopefully you guys will like it. But yeah, that's something that's new that should be coming soon. So that, I think, yeah, Nancy, I'm with you. I stopped using voices on GPS because none of them are good. So now I just have the GPS. If I need to go somewhere where I don't know where I'm going, which I'm old school, so if I'm going somewhere for the first time, I will look up on a map and figure out how to get there. So if the GPS wants to be stupid, I can still do it. But I always have the GPS if I'm using guidance with no sound, just because I can't deal with the voices.
I hate that they're like, a lot of them are computer generated, so they sound so weird.
Yeah.
And then with simple road names, they'll say something really weird.
Yeah,
there's a couple around here that drive. I can't think of what they are right now, but it drives me nuts.
Yeah, well, there's like Kukendall, right? And they just don't know how to pronounce because it's spelled really weird. Or like, when I was in San Francisco, there's a lot of street names there that no one knows how to pronounce. Like, I lived in San Francisco for several years, and it wasn't until I got onto a public bus that I knew how to pronounce half the street names, because they're spelled so weird and they could have 8 different interpretations of how you say it. And I'm like, well, the bus company's going to get it, right? Like Geary, that's an easy one. Haight and Ashbury, they're 2 different streets. But there are some streets you're like, I don't know how to pronounce this. But when I hear the bus tell me what it's pronounced, I'm like, oh, good, that's how you pronounce that street now.
Well, so they're talking about the GPS will send you on a wild goose chase. Remember when we were in
second date, third date?
Well, that too. But when we were in Beaumont for a soccer tournament, our GPS like wigged out and it showed us driving in the ocean.
It showed us driving in the ocean. It was like we weren't anywhere. We were like 15 miles off the coast of Florida. It didn't work. But it was our second or third date. I don't remember. It was one of those, but we went to the hitching post was it Buellton? Or did we go to the other one? I don't remember.
I think it was Buellton.
So it's in the middle of nowhere. It's just like farm to table restaurant, very good.
There's like actual cows.
Yeah, it's like literally in a farm. And so this was in 2007. So like the beginning of GPS in cars. So I put the address and the GPS in my car.
I didn't know where it is because I don't drive anywhere I don't know.
So we're going there, and it's an hour and a half away from where we were in Santa.
I just really wanted their artichoke.
Yeah, they have a great grilled artichoke. So we're living in Santa Barbara County, and so anyway, we're put it in the GPS address in the GPS, and we're driving. And we're literally in the middle of nowhere, but we don't think anything of it because the restaurant's in the middle of nowhere. It's literally on a farm in the middle of nowhere. And we end up driving somewhere, and there's just a fence in the middle of the road, and it's like road closed. And we had no idea where the hell we were because the GPS told us that we could keep
how to
going.
get there at that point after that was closed.
Yeah, and I think
you had to call, and they let us know how to get there because we had a reservation, and we were still able to eat.
Yeah, so we had to call and say, look, we're not going to get there on time because we have no idea where we are and we're lost. So I had to get directions from them based on where we were. And because the regular map, not just the GPS map, showed that the road that we were on should have continued to go on. Now, I don't know if there was like a rock slide or something, because that part of California has a lot of rock slides and roads get closed, wildfires, things of that nature. But I think we ended up showing about 45 minutes late, but they were totally cool. Got us a table, and then we figured it all out. But it was just a funny GPS story. It's like, yeah, that thing was going to take us to our death.
Julie, if you listen to Mrs. Polyfax, you will have to let me know what you think, because I'm actually going to have to start re-listening to them again because it's been a while. I don't listen to many books over and over or read many books over and over, but I listen to those quite a few times because I really love them. They're easy listens. They're funny, very clever.
Sylvia says, try GPS in Mexico. It mangles names, which is hilarious because like Spanish is one of the easiest languages to pronounce words. I mean, a lot of European and Romance-based languages are because all the vowels are always the same. So you can just figure out by the letters in the word what they sound like. But yeah, they're not very good at pronouncing anything that is different. So
yes, Mary Lou, we mentioned it. Definitely prayers going to Donna and her granddaughter. And I did see your order come through, so we will get it shipped out to you hopefully tomorrow. I'm packing again in the morning.
Yeah. So again, this is our favorite night of the week. I love Wednesdays. I look forward to it. Yesterday, I thought it was Wednesday, and I was getting so excited. And then when it got to about 4 o'clock, I'm like, crap, it's Tuesday, which means we don't have a live. It was very annoying. So instead, I took us to our favorite restaurant, Anthony's, because I was like, well, crap, we don't get to do the live. We might as well go have some good food. So yeah. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for participating in the chat and for having fun with us with our questions. And we look forward to next week. And don't answer, please, but one of the questions for next week will be, which book that you have read would you like turned into a movie? I don't want to know to this week, but think about it, because I already know the answer for me. And we will talk to you guys next week. If you have any questions or if you have ideas for things that you may want us to make you, we do custom stuff. So I'm happy to make you a one-off item at any point in time, because I like figuring out how to design and make stuff. Want to, again, remind you that if you are in the Austin area or don't have a problem driving to Austin, you should definitely check out Austin Sewing. It's a great little shop. It's a family-run business. The guy that owns it is above board, has great prices. They do a sale every third Saturday. You can use the code 3RD third SAT sale online to get 20% off all fabric and such. To the extent that you have a deity to which you pray, Donna's granddaughter, Harper, did get a heart transplant. I think the surgery is tomorrow morning.
Yes.
So to the extent that you, whatever it is you do, spiritual wise, send out some good thoughts to Harper's, because her surgery will be tomorrow. And
guess who? Nancy made a very good point too, to also pray for the family where the heart came from.
That's true. Because
so definitely joy and definitely sadness at the same time. So
circle of life. So look forward to next week on Wednesday. I'm also looking forward to the weekend every weekend. So yeah, otherwise, thank you so much. And hopefully you enjoyed watching my wife put together these really cool, colorful blocks using the Flying Geese template. Yep.
So thanks, you guys. And I will try to get this tutorial up soon if anybody wants to make the blocks, so that you can kind of see it condensed and have all the measurements all together. And then we will see you next Wednesday. So thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. And we will see you next week.
Bye.